Hi, I'm Tech Sergeant David Garrick, and this is Luke Air Force Base's Explosive Ordnance Disposal Training Range. Today we're going to be showing you guys exactly what we do as EOD techs, or Explosive Ordnance Disposal. So come on in.
My name's Staff Sergeant Michael Harkavy, and we're going to be doing an explosive safety brief for today's operation. Right now we have 2 detonations that are going to be going on. One's going to be 1 block of C4, composition 4, and the other one is going to be 2 blocks of composition C4. The blast distance is going to be 586 feet, and we're going to have a bunker over there where we're going to stay behind. It's going to be outside that distance.
This is our bunker right here. We are only approved for a certain amount of explosives, a very minor amount of explosives, and this is also for emergency destructs. We have ranges up at Gila Bend that can do much more, can sustain much more bigger explosions, but this is mainly for training. And that's what we're going to actually see today, is when we put a block of C4, 1.25 pounds, and then we're also going to put 2 blocks together so that you guys can see the difference. A lot of times we'll actually center the explosion in the middle of this bunker right here, and we have railroad ties that absorb it, but it'll just detonate, and this sand is actually different than the sand from out there, so it absorbs more of the explosion. We're really close to a flight line right here, so we don't want to do anything that will disrupt the aircraft. And as you can see right here, we have different types of, we have sandbags all over here, and that's to bunker our tools and also bunker some of the explosions. And we'll go over the explosives later, C4, blasting, caps, and which one's sensitive and which one's not sensitive. And as you can see, we also have some training aids in here. Looks like someone had a pressure plate here, and this bunker is also used to fire our tools, which are kind of like caliber weapons, except for we load them with different rounds. Some of them is water, some of them are actual bullets. But this is a pressure plate that you commonly see in Afghanistan. So we have these 2 wires in here, and this is normally the way the pressure plate is set up. It's easy construction. As you can see, you've got plywood boards right here, and you've got these little cushions. And these 2 little wires here, once they connect, it'll actually connect the circuit. Right now the circuit's broken, which means it's not receiving any electricity. So once you actually step on this, it's separated like that by itself, but once you actually step on it, it'll actually connect in the center. It's kind of hard to see, but those 2 wires are connecting right there. And then that'll actually function the device. Well, this is our actual training bunker over here. It's a shed, and it's filled with all different types of ordnance items that we can actually train on. So we have projectiles, bombs, I think we even have a couple of rockets out here, but as you can see, we actually shoot them, or we train on them. We actually see what explosives do to different types of ordnance items. Like right here, we've actually got a hole punched in this, and this was just to see how much we could create a shape charge. And that's like this right here, and this is a heavy cased munition item. And then we have mortars, all this other different types of stuff. But this is just to show you that we train on all different types of ordnance items, and there's literally thousands and thousands of different things that EOD has to be ready for.
This is 1 block of C4. It's 1 1/4 pound, and it's what we call plasticized. So what it is it's a combination of explosives and covered basically in a plastic or a Play-Doh. So it looks just like Play-Doh, and you can knead it, you can make it in any shape that you want, and you can put it wherever you want and set it off. It's also very safe. It needs a combination of heat and then shock or friction to go off, and it needs 2 of those. So a block like this you could actually take and light on fire, and it would just burn and it wouldn't explode. But you need something else, another explosive to hit it, or some sort of friction, or what I said before, a shock to make it go off.
one of the special mission sets here that we have at Luke. We also do Secret Service missions as well, where we support the President, Vice President, the Secretary of State, any diplomats, whatever we get assigned to, and that takes us all over the world. I just came from Brussels about 3 months ago. We also deploy and do military combat operations, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria. Wherever there's bad guys and they use bombs, that's where we need to be. And then we are pretty much, I mean, we also do nuclear operations, but that's not a specific mission set here at Luke Air Force Base. And we train constantly. As you can see, this is just a very minor part of how many actual ordnance items we have. We've got rocket launchers, mortars, flares, rockets, and then off to our left we've got grenades, some fuses, and we can actually come over and talk about this. So when we're actually talking about an explosion or anything like that, there's a basic concept that each ordnance or even IED builds off of. You have your main explosive. This explosive right here is not sensitive at all. I can drop it, like we can burn it like we did in the C4. It's very stable. And then you have your unstable source right here, your blasting cap. This is about as big as the end of a pencil. And what we have in here is a very specific type of explosive that's very sensitive. All it needs is a little bit of a shock and it'll actually detonate. So what we do with this is this has enough explosives to set this off. So this is safe. Once I actually put this in here, it becomes very dangerous. As soon as I hook this up to any type of electrical source and I set it off, it explodes. It's the same thing to do with bombs as well. So we have this thing is, okay, this one's late. We have a projectile right here. This projectile is very safe as it is right now. I can drop it, throw it, do whatever I need to do, but I could even shoot it and it would probably just be a really heavy object going at you really quickly. But once I put this fuse on here, which is essentially that blasting cap, once I put this on here, it's the same thing. This contains a certain amount of explosives inside of it that are sensitive. And once I put it in here and I screw it in here, if this thing hits the top of it, it sets off those explosives in this right here, and it sets off the explosives right here. And that's normally how ordnance items are set up to detonate. So you got to know all your stuff, and you'll be good to go.
Next, we're going to talk about X-rays. You've probably had a few X-rays. From time to time, pretty much everyone does, but X-rays can also be used to look inside of boxes or packages that we don't know what's inside of it. How an X-ray works, it works just like a flashlight. So you'll have a flashlight, and the light that you can't see because it's X-rays and it's invisible will actually pass through your body or an object and creates a shadow just like this. So my hand down below creates a shadow on pretty much anything that's denser. So it'll pass through lighter objects, but things like bones or wires, they show up on X-rays like this. This is a kitchen timer. Here's another mechanical kitchen timer, so you can see actually what's inside these objects. Now, what we actually are looking for is a whole bunch of these different things, whether it be timers, motion sensors, even radios. And all these are wired together, and we have to try and figure out what's inside of it. And what we use is a portable version of an X-ray, and it looks just like this. So it actually does look like a flashlight, and we just put it right next to the object, and we put a little image screen behind it, and we do just like a flashlight, and it creates an image on the back. So next we're going to go and take a look at some of the X-rays that we've already taken of real improvised explosive devices. Let's go take a look.
All right, so my name is Senior McComb, and as Staff Sergeant Harkavy was talking about with our X-ray system, this is the XRS-3, shooting into a source, and on an unknown IED package, what we normally do is we like to X-ray the package to see what we're dealing with inside and try to do an X-ray interpretation in order to figure out how we're going to fight the problem at hand. So here we are. Optimally, we're going to want it at 2 feet because on this system here, it shoots at a 40-degree cone, and with that, it's going to shoot out this way and get most of the package that we're trying to see inside. So without further ado, I'm gonna fire away.
Senior Airman Coombe just gave me this. It's an X-ray. What we did is we took it and we slid it through here, and it took the picture, put it on this screen, and what you see is what's inside this box. And what we spent a lot of time doing is trying to figure out what this is and what it looks like, because this is just a shadow of what's inside. And you can see this is what was actually inside. So you can see the comparison between the heavy, thick things and actually the smaller stuff, the watch, the circuit boards, and all that. And that's how we do X-rays. This is an F6 robot. It's one of the older robots that we have, but it's incredibly reliable. It weighs over 250 pounds. It has an arm that fully extended, it can lift 15 pounds, and from 3 feet away, it can lift 45 pounds. What's really great about this robot is it can climb stairs and climb over objects 1.5 feet tall. So we can really get inside certain areas, what you normally wouldn't have with smaller robots. And I have it hooked up to this controller, but you can also control it with antennas, just like you would receive something on a TV or a remote control. And we have it hooked up to a screen. This is a bomb suit. This is what we get into if the situation's still not safe and we have to do what's called a manual approach. It weighs about 60 pounds. It has a huge Kevlar plate in the front. And what you saw detonate, the first shot, that was only 1 block of explosives. The survivability rate, you can survive in this suit 2 feet away with 1 block. But if you go 10 feet away, you can have 11 of those same blocks and you'll still be okay. That's what we call inverse square law. So every time that you double the amount of distance away from an explosive, it quarters the amount. So this is a bomb suit. It has batteries in the back that have a little fan in there, because what you're basically putting on is a giant hot blanket. And since you're walking down on something that could explode, you get a little stressed out. So air circulates through there so you don't fog up your helmet. And that's the bomb suit.